Hi everyone, Randy Fleming here. I'm a trainer with the National Tile Contractors Association, and we're finally wrapping up our mortar bed shower pan. And we've talked from the beginning how to set our bonding flange drain, how to set our elevations. Our last one was just how to set our screeds. Last part we need now is to float our floor and make sure we have it all nice and smooth, nice on an even, smooth plane, so that there's no bird baths on our floor when we install our tile. So we're going to now go through and install our mortar bed. So with our mortar bed, once again, just like I mentioned in the last, when we set our screeds, compaction is the key. So we're going to compact this really well, and then we're going to use a metal edge like this, maybe a little bit shorter like this, and we'll come through and I'll use that to scrape the mud to the right elevation from my screed down to my bonding flange drain. Now sometimes I could use a really small edge in here, but sometimes those are even too big. So sometimes I'll just use the edge of my float as long as it's nice and straight. So typically that's a nice thing about our resin floats. They're pretty firm, they last a long time, and if I put an edge across there, I'm really nice and flat with the edge of this. So I'm comfortable using the edge of this to use that to float. So we're just going to come in here and keep scraping this mud till I get it nice and smooth heading to the drain. A key to making sure when we float, we don't want to be flush just right here. We want to make sure we have one nice even smooth plane all the way back. So we're going to make sure we come through here and keep scraping until I have part of my screed cut off so that I don't have a bird bath right where the screed stops. I had, as I set my screed, they're nice and flat, but I need my screed all the way to the wall to have pitch to the drain. So I've got to make sure I cut this all the way back so we don't leave any flat spots in our floor. The one advantage of an edge versus a float like that, the float a little bit old, edges are a little bit, the corners of it are a little bit rounded, it doesn't cut well. So sometimes they're fine in a pinch, but a nice new edge, they cut really well. Sometimes you have to be careful not to cut too much too fast with your edge. Any little holes, that's typically just showing you where we don't have great compaction in our mud. So we want to come back, fill those in. Then we'll use our float, and we usually use it to just do some real fine cutting around the edge to make sure we don't have any edges, any bird baths in any of this. We want a really nice smooth surface when we're done. And now, what we do is after we get our float used on this to shave, if we have a little bit more, we can use a flat trowel to come through and shave a little bit more, which this needs just a little bit more because I didn't shave quite down to the pan or to our bonding flange drain. So I'll come through and shave lightly to make sure I'm right to that edge. Then once that's done, I'll take my flat trowel. And as we're doing a lot of packing, sometimes we'll get mud packed on the face of this. We don't want to start trying to trowel with mud on the face. Get it nice and clean. And so as we trowel, we're trying to lift up on the front leading side. And we're just trying to use the trowel, compact that last little bit, make it nice and smooth. We're not trying to trowel so much that we bring water up purposefully so we have it shiny. That doesn't help us at all. We're just trying to have it nice and smooth. The sand in our mortar we're using today is a really fine sand, so we get a nice smooth finish on our surface anyhow. As we float our pan, we want to try, conical is the best shape, especially with the mosaic. So we want to try and make sure it's floating all the way around at an angle. When I first learned, some people will float just like this. It's not quite the same. It doesn't give us quite the same pitch. So we want to follow the shape all the way around. We get just a little bit better flow of water when we float circular like the drain is. So we can see I've got a little bit of area here along the screed, and that's usually where we have an area that our mud doesn't compact well, because we got a hard surface there that we're working up against. So if we have that, no big deal. We'll come in, just add a little bit of mud there, a little bit of mud there, and then we'll just come through and fine tune it with our wood float. I'm going to give my helper a raise. You mix just the exact right amount of mud for a pan like this. Very good job. Also, another thing, you do notice I am wearing safety glasses and gloves. We have cement, we have sand, a little bit of that goes in your eyes, really no fun. Also, floating for a few minutes without gloves, probably not the end of the world, but cement, sand on your hands, not good for them. So it's best to protect your hands, protect your eyes when you're doing this kind of work. A little bit extra mud on some of these holes here. So I know it's not the best time to check my work while I'm on camera, but let's go through and take a look. Can you come in right here and take a look? We don't see any deviations. We don't see any up or down. We're touching there, flat all the way up, right up to the end. I've got just a little bit of a drop off. So if you have that, we'll come through. It's really easy to take care of. Come through, just do a light little shave right there along that edge. Because we're talking like a 32nd of an inch right there is all that's out. So now we're done with our pan. Really nice slope to the drain. We're within code. Our water is going to our bonding flange drain. So after this dries, we'll come back. We'll set a membrane over the top of this. We'll install our drain. We'll take our membrane, flash up, go up the walls. So we have a nice waterproof shower system where the water now has the right amount of pitch, and we've got a nice drain assembly for all of this to work and get the water where it goes down the drain. Thanks.